Hello guys, what's good, and welcome to another vlog. I wasn't actually gonna vlog like the next few days, but then I feel like you guys seem to like these little like follow me around like property developer life vlogs, so I was like, okay, let me vlog. But to be honest, nothing really like mega crazy exciting is happening. We're just going on a few viewings and we've got a meeting tomorrow, and that's about it really. I've got like a few like personal bits and bobs to do, but yeah, I don't know if you like care. But yeah, we've got a viewing today in another new area. It's about like 40 minutes away from where I live. So the first property that we're going to view today is an existing HMO that looks like it needs some modernisation, and today we're just going to go and really see like what work actually needs doing to it. Like from the floor plan and the pictures that are on Rightmove, it just literally looks as if like in the bedrooms they've just put like a shower and a sink in the corner. Like they haven't even like put walls where like the little ensuite area is. I mean, there's not even a toilet. So obviously we need to like sort out that situation. Sorry, I just had to jump into mum's car, but yeah, it looks like there's still quite a bit of work that like needs doing on the property, but it does look as if it is quite a big property and it's in half decent condition, but like not the condition that we need it to be in. And then today as well, we're going to see if there's any like structural issues. So is there any cracks or anything like that? Just really get a good idea of what exactly needs doing. But yeah, that's kind of it really, to be honest. We're just going to kind of have a look at the layout. Oh, and we also need to look at that place as an area just generally. So we're actually going with one of mom's friends who like is more familiar with the area, so we can kind of judge and see like what's around, is this a nice area and things like that. So yeah, we'll let you know how it goes. Right, so first viewing done. What did you think, Mum?
The house has got some potential, and it wasn't in an absolute state, but it's just the area really lets it down.
Yeah, definitely. Like, yeah, the house does have like potential, to be fair. Like it could easily be like reconfigured and turned around to how we'd want it to be, but the actual area itself was just not nice.
Yeah, and it's not even so much the area is kind of okay, but it's the standard of how the properties are being maintained, and I think it's basically because it's a lot of rentals, and it's a lot of rentals that aren't being maintained well, or where the landlord, you know, it's probably the HMOs or the student house shares where the landlords haven't, you know, insisted on sort of a certain standard. So it's a shame really.
Yeah.
I can see, I mean, we were just talking, we can see why some councils don't like lots of HMOs in an area, because it brings it down, which is, it's a shame. It feels like, as landlords, it feels like we're really short-sighted almost.
Well, not we. They don't put us in the same bracket as them.
As a group, I think landlords don't think about, like, you know, maintaining the area with things like adequate bin storage, and, you know, making sure that the front of the property still look nice, so that you actually maintain the value of your investment.
Yeah,
I can't understand why you wouldn't do that really.
So I was just saying, in terms of the area, like obviously buying it, refurbing it and then renting it out, that's one thing, but then like when it would come to refinancing it, because the other properties on the street, they're kind of all in bad condition, like, you know, there's only so much they're going to value the house at. They kind of have to base it on like what's around. So if everywhere around it is bad, then they're not going to be like, oh well, this one is actually amazing kind of thing. So like, yeah, it's just annoying, because like if they just like looked after their properties and like looked after their tenants and things like that, it wouldn't have to be this way. It don't have to be like this.
It doesn't have to be. I mean, I was just saying, we made a point of, in one of our properties, when we finished it, we had an issue with one of the neighbouring properties where like bins were being left out kind of on the street, like in the public area, and we made a point of kind of, you know, raising it to make sure that those bins got put away back onto the private property, and it's made such a difference to the area.
Yeah.
And I just think it's really important to kind of like look after your properties and look after your area, and instill that sort of mindset into your tenants basically from day one.
Yeah, definitely. But like, yeah, I mean, he hadn't even had the property for that long.
No.
Like a couple years. he hadn't done anything. Well,
Didn't do anything.
He
to
hadn't
it.
done anything to it. But it's like if you just maintained it in a better condition, you'd have better tenants anyway. For one, I'm not saying that his tenants are bad, but you'd have better quality of tenants, and your property would be worth more. So I feel like instead of being like, oh, let me just like buy it and put it back out on the market and just like not do anything, it's like do a little something. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting because obviously at the moment we are, rather than kind of trying to wait for the perfect deal, which what's that anyway? We are looking at some of these tired landlords, and it's difficult, man. It's challenging, and you almost wonder why they've gone into it in the first place. I mean, he'd only had that property for 3 years.
Yeah.
So, but he'd obviously gone into it, but not really with a view to kind of like improving things, just with a view of, oh, I'll just buy this, it'll be a good investment and I'll make tons of money. And obviously it hasn't turned out that way.
No.
So, yes.
The search continues.
The search
but yeah,
continues.
In terms of that one,
I think it's a no.
yeah, I don't want to see it ever again. But no, it's actually really interesting, and I was actually thinking like this morning, because I often get people ask me like, what's the best area to invest, where should I invest, etc, etc. So say for example people ask me like, oh, is Birmingham good for HMOs? And it's like, you literally have to judge it like street by street. Like you have to be like that nitpicky. Like it's not a case of like, this area generally is really good for HMOs, or you get really good etc here, etc there. Like you literally have to judge it by the street, because where we went today, I mean, okay, it wasn't the worst street on the world, I've been to worse streets, but it was like a pretty run down street. But like the street that was literally like next to it was actually like really nice. It had like nice properties. So like you do have to kind of like use your common sense and like kind of judge it and say like, oh, like what is this street actually like when you go there? Would you feel comfortable there at night? What would it be like in the summer where people start drinking and things like that? Do you know what I mean? Like I think you really have to judge it on things like that, not just like, oh, this area, like especially when people are like Birmingham. And I'm like, Birmingham is so big, and it's like such a big, it's like there's even parts in like Birmingham city centre. And in fact, we always used to say this when we were talking about SA back in the day when we used to do service accommodation. We always used to say that like some parts of Birmingham city centre, they're just not even nice. Like they're just not even nice. And like you can literally be a street away from like a bad part, you can be like a street away from a good part. So I think it's hard to, when people ask things like that, it's hard for me to just say, oh, this area is nice. You know what I mean? Yeah,
you've got to really get into the nuts and bolts. I know that some investors talk about sort of walking around the areas to kind of properly get a feel. So not even just in your cars, but walking around. What I sometimes do is like sometimes when we've got a little bit of a short list and it's maybe concentrated around a specific area and I don't know the area that well, sometimes I'll go and drive around on a Sunday morning when it's really quiet, and then I can kind of stop my car if I need to and kind of get out and have a proper look round, because you've got to really get under the skin of the area and the streets. As Leah says, it's the streets as well. I mean, what's a shame about the house that we saw today? Actually, the house itself, and particularly the inside, it's a period property, and actually on that street, the houses themselves, ignoring the condition that they're in, the houses are actually beautiful, with original features. It's got like the original floor tiles in the halls, and it's just a shame that they haven't been looked after, and that the area hasn't been looked after. It's a real shame.
Yeah, didn't have to be this way, man. Didn't have to be this way. But I was just gonna say like more about the areas. This has turned into like an area rant, sorry, but I was just gonna say more about the areas. So like for our first 3 properties, they've all been like close to home and like my original hometown, not Birmingham. And like I'm really glad that we did that, because we do know the streets really well and we really know the area and like what's around, what's a dodgy area, what's a place to avoid. So I'm glad that we did stay close to home for our first few properties, and it's only now that we're branching out. So so I'm back home now. I just took the dog for a walk, but like I was just thinking like it's been so interesting like this time round looking for a property, because usually for our like previous projects that we've done, like we've managed to like just go on a few viewings and then we found something that's been like perfect. and then like just put an offer in and then obviously brought it. Whereas like this time round, it's like we've had to go on so many viewings. Like we really haven't done that many. Like I don't know, about 15 maybe, maybe more. But yeah, like I guess this is the first time we haven't just like found a project quite easily and just like found something on Rightmove and then it's been perfect. Like yeah, so yeah. I mean, I think before we brought the old office, which was our second renovation project, we went on like 3 or 4 viewings and we put in offers on 2 of them and then they ended up like falling through. So yeah, I guess this is kind of different because we're going on viewings that are just like going nowhere in a way. But yeah, I didn't know if it was a bit boring to watch as a vlog because I feel like nothing like really that drastic's happening. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like a very average kind of like, this is just my average life kind of thing. But Mom said that like it was like seeing the real side of things, so to keep doing it. So here I am. Also guys, I really want to film a couple of Q&As soon, so it can be property related, personal things, just anything you want to know, just ask away, either comment down below or just DM me on Instagram or whatever. But yeah, just ask anything. Hello guys, so it's a new day and I actually have a meeting this morning which I'm looking forward to. So today's meeting is actually with someone who has a co-living podcast. So co-living is more like where they have a gym on site, they might have like a working area, like things like that really. So kind of similar to like my apartment block because I've got like a gym here and things like that, but kind of more of a HMO version instead of like individual apartments. So we're just gonna have this meeting today and find out like more about it because it's something that we definitely want to get into. But yeah, we kind of just want to find out like what people tend to like and things like that, and then that will help us in like finding deals and knowing like what to put in our projects. And then also what's really interesting is this lady talks about like intergenerational co-living, so like having older people and having younger people who live together and things like that and how that works. And I actually think that is like something that's really cool because I think it's great to spend time with people who are like completely different to you and like to learn from them and things like that. So yeah, I'm definitely really intrigued to see like how that's gone for her and things like that. So yeah. Right, so that meeting was absolutely fantastic. She was literally so lovely. And we were just really having a chat about like creating a community, and she was saying about how like we were doing all of the right things in our HMOs at the minute, so that was really good. So obviously when we move on to like more of a co-living development, then we just can like carry on doing the things that we're already doing. So that was really good and like really positive to hear, like yeah. And then yeah, we were also talking about intergenerational living. So in our first HMO at the minute, most of the tenants are like young, like they're in their 20s, sort of like similar to my age. They're all like young professionals. They do kind of like sciencey jobs, so they're like doctors, dentists, vets, things like that. But then we have one lady who lives there who's in her 60s, and actually like that's worked really well. And like I think she's kind of like a mother figure for them, not in like a sort of like naggy mommy way, just like I don't know, like she changes light bulbs for them and things like that. And like I don't know, I guess it must be nice for them to have like an older woman who can be like the sort of mother figure like in the house kind of thing. So yeah, but yeah, definitely want to get more into it and like research more into it and everything like that. So yeah, but yeah, it's really cute because I feel like our tenants have bonded over food. So like we usually get them like some donuts, we might get them the odd takeaway here and there, and then like they've started doing that themselves now. So like one of our tenants cooked everyone a lasagna, and then sometimes they buy chocolates for each other. One girl was having like a cooking lesson the other day. So yeah, it's just really cute to see, and yeah, I love to see it. So yeah. Hello, so we are back out on viewings today. So we're actually viewing an existing 13-bed HMO. This is in a really good location, but I feel like the inside is going to be interesting.
It's going to be glossy because the outside's already pretty.
Yeah, judging by the outside, like even like looking at the windows, it literally looks as if you could just put your hand through the windows. They just look so thin.
Yeah, there's a couple of broken panes of glass.
I'm not
the delight.
I'm not expecting like big things. This is gonna be grotty, man, I can tell. But it's such a beautiful building. Like it is actually really pretty, don't you think?
It's really lovely.
It's proper stunning like building. So why can't they just keep things in good condition? Like, just why? I don't even know what we're gonna see when we walk in. But yeah. All right, so that viewing was super, super challenging. I mean, that's an understatement, actually. Like, it was just... So basically, as I mentioned before, it's a 13-bed HMO. And, like, as he was showing us around, so he showed us, like, in the communal area, there was 2 kitchens. He showed us in there. But then when it came to the bedrooms, he'd be like, this is a double room, this is a single room. But, he wouldn't actually take us in the rooms. So, like, we don't have a clue what any of the rooms look like. So we can only really base things on the floor plan, but obviously that's not, that's just the floor plan. But it was hard to tell, like, what things were like structurally. So, like, we don't know if in the bedrooms, like, there's cracks on the wall or something like that. Like, we just don't know. I mean, it seemed from, like, the hallway and things like that it would be in decent condition. But obviously, we just don't know. And then, yeah, he's just like dodging questions as well about like the basement and the loft and things like that. Oh, and then as well, like, there's like this garden that's got like a flat kind of on it, and he was kind of basically saying that for that it's like an extra 150, but and it just seemed as if he just pulled that number out of thin air. So
it's always really difficult having viewings with vendors because it's just always really difficult because obviously you can't, you don't want to probe too hard, you can't really offend them obviously in terms of the state of the property, and also they're going to have views about what you should or shouldn't do with the property, so it's sometimes difficult to get the information out of them just because they've kind of got this fixed view, especially as we're seeing like with these HMO landlords, these very, very tired HMO landlords. They almost think that you want to buy the property from them and run it exactly the same way that they have.
Yeah.
It's like, well, why are they selling it if they think you're going to run it the same way? So that is really challenging, actually.
Yeah.
Really challenging.
Like, he genuinely thinks that he's selling an absolute gold mine. I don't know. I don't know what
He actually does.
He does. He literally thinks he's selling like the bee's knees, this like buzzing HMO, and I'm like, you ain't seen nothing, mate.
It's just so fascinating that these tired landlords that are literally getting somewhere between 60, 70, 80 pounds a week in actually quite big rooms, in not bad areas, they don't think that there's an issue with their model, and so when you go to look at it and they're showing you around, they don't understand why there isn't value in what they're sitting on, why you still need to spend more money on it, because obviously they wouldn't spend more money on it, so therefore they don't. It's difficult because they don't really appreciate the potential of what they've got in terms of as a property. It's really challenging.
Yeah, like that building, it does have so much potential. Well, we think, obviously I couldn't even see it in the bedroom, so I assume it's got potential.
We think it has potential.
I feel like the whole thing was just very like, I wouldn't want to deal with it. Do you know what I mean?
I think he would be a very awkward vendor.
Yeah.
Which, at the end of the day, you don't want to walk away from a deal just because somebody's awkward, but the thing is as well, he actually lives just up the road. I think he probably lives on almost like on site, if that makes sense. So I'm not sure. I think he'd be around for a while. He'd be a neighbour. I think he'd be around for a while.
Yeah, I just... it's a cold world, man.
It's a cold world.
It's a cold world, man. Do you know what? It's really put me off, these like last few viewings that we've had of existing HMOs. It's kind of put me off, like, going for an existing HMO, because...
Well, the one viewing that we had, that was with the estate agent, and actually the viewing was a lot better. I think it's
true,
when
true.
it's with the it's when the viewing is with the vendor, that's when it's problematic.
Yeah, so when it's with the vendor, it was literally like you didn't even want to sell it.
Well, I think there was an element of him sussing out to see whether we were even serious. There is an element of that, because you got a lot of people running around viewing properties with not necessarily, the money, and then offering, like ridiculous lowball figures. So I think there's an element of that which I completely understand. But yeah, it did make it very awkward.
Yeah.
I mean, that one has got potential. It's got real potential. So we will see.
Yeah, well, we've got one more viewing booked on Tuesday, and then after that I'm quitting forever and I'm done.
You're quitting with the viewings?
Yeah.
So who's going to do the viewings?
I don't know, man. Get Dad involved. Nah, we'll obviously keep going, but
I think maybe this is why we haven't got the patience for it.
Yeah.
Because we don't actually normally do that many viewings.
yeah, I was saying on the vlog when I got home last time that like we've never had to do this many viewings.
Yeah, to get a deal. But then some of that as well, you see, we've got quite high hurdles to get through in terms of the perfect deal, and that's probably why we're struggling. So we do need to revisit that.
No, we will find the one. We will. It's the same way with, I nearly said the street name, it's the same way with the old office. We couldn't find anything for ages, and then one day it was just there on Rightmove. Like, it will just come through. It just will.
Okay. I'm glad you believe.
Yeah. I'm holding out for the perfect deal.
Cool.
So guys, this is the last viewing of the vlog.
Yay.
Wait. And if it doesn't go well, it'll be my last viewing ever. No, I'm joking. So the property that we're going to see is an office, and this office is in a pretty decent condition. I reckon it could be like an 8 to 10 bed. We just need to go and see and like check the layout and things like this. But I'm trying to like bring good vibes into this viewing because I want this one to work.
We have not had much luck, have we, really?
I know. And like, we know this area is a good area. Like, the street that it's on is a good street. Yeah, I used to go to the orthodontist on this street that we're going to, so yeah, it's a decent street. I hope that this one is a good one because, yeah, and this is definitely more of the type of deal that we're used to and that we like, because it's like an office, so that's the vibe that we want to go for.
Yeah, I think the building and the age of the building is more like what we've done before. So
yeah.
We tend to know I think we tend to know like the pitfalls and what to look for in these sorts of buildings.
Yeah. Do you know what? I know this is really bad, but I was thinking, like, when I was driving, I'm so glad we're not walking into an existing HMO. I was like, I can't be bothered with it, you know? I don't want that energy today. So yeah, hopefully this one's good. Okay guys, so we've just viewed the office and we like it. We do like it.
We like it a lot.
Yeah. Very keen on the office. This could be like the old office number 2. So definitely though, like when we walked in I was like, this is a bit of us, do you know what I mean? This is our bag, this is what we do, this is our lane.
It is actually. Yeah,
the other things that we've been viewing have just been off what we actually want to do, whereas this was just a bit of us. And like even walking around I was like, oh yeah, you just like change this to a bedroom, this would be the kitchen, this would, do you know what I mean? Like, it could just make sense of it easy, and it just,
I think that's what they call working with the building, is what I think. So basically we know that we wouldn't have to go like knocking down loads of walls or putting up loads of walls or reconfiguring really very much at all, apart from for the bathrooms.
yeah.
So that's perfect because it just means less building work, less major work.
Like that was definitely a bit of us, and it was most similar to like what we've done previously, whereas the other things we've been viewing have been a bit off brand.
That's an understatement. That is an actual understatement.
They have been the pits.
Yeah, which is interesting. I feel like we have but this happens every time we go outside of our lane. Like, do you remember when we went to those other ones, like the one that looked like the Truman Show, and we turned up, you didn't even want to go inside. I feel that every time we stray slightly outside of our lane, we either don't like the building or we get a bad vibe or something.
Yeah.
It's weird.
So we just need to learn to stay in our lane.
Our gut tells us what our lane is, I feel.
Yeah.
Although, to be fair, the newer one, the later one that we were interested in, that we got gazumped on, that wasn't strictly in our lane, and we were very excited about that.
Yeah, that wasn't in our lane, but it was like the express lane. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and the building was actually quite similar.
It was like we were stepping up kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, the express lane, you know. But, yeah, no, the viewing was really, really good. The estate agent was nice as well. Really nice guy.
Yeah, it was
so
nice.
It's always good to start on a good vibe.
I kind of like the fact that they've had lots of viewings but no offers yet, because I feel like what that means is that other people, that we've probably got a slightly different plan to what other people have got, which is always good because hopefully it takes out the competition, because there aren't as many people looking to do the same thing as you.
Yeah.
And I think, for example, you know, people that might have been thinking about converting into flats or whatever,
Yeah.
I don't think it's got enough parking / outdoor space for that sort of thing, and it hasn't got enough outdoor space to be like a family home and whatever. And those are the things that I think sometimes those are the reasons that it ticks our boxes, actually, because in terms of what we do, you know, like with a nice, I'm going to say co-living space now because we're moving into that world, we don't necessarily need lots of outdoor space. You know, we know we can still make it work if we're clever with the indoor space. So that for me is a really good sign, actually.
Yeah. No, it was nice, man.
We like it.
We like it. Let's not get too excited. I better just stop smiling.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, so in terms of the next steps, we need to really like look at the numbers and everything around the area, do a bit more digging so that we can put in a sensible, reasonable offer. And then we also need to make a few inquiries regarding the planning. So we need to see like what planning's gone on in the area, what's been accepted, what hasn't been, and just like get a general vibe of the area, and then that'll make it easier for us to know like what's the likelihood of getting planning kind of thing. We will do a pre-app before we go through like full planning, so then they can kind of say like what's the likelihood of you actually getting planning on this property kind of thing. So we did a pre-app with the cafe, and that was really good because that told us like, okay, you are likely to get planning, however this will be an objection kind of thing. I actually still need to do the video talking about like the full process of buying the cafe. Like, yeah, I need to do that still.
Yeah, I feel like the pre-app process is really underrated, like, because for the pre-app, which is so much less cost-wise, I mean, well, here's the thing, some people just go down the road of planning consultants anyway, but a pre-app is a really good way, if you haven't yet got a planning consultant, a pre-app for like literally a couple of £100, a few £100, can tell you whether you're likely to get planning anyway. So even before you've kind of started to engage a planning consultant. So I feel it's just so worth doing.
Yeah.
So worth doing.
Yeah, definitely.
I think with this one, obviously, because it's not an area where we ourselves have gotten planning before, we may well use either a planning consultant or somebody that we know, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, that has kind of been our sort of unofficial mentor, who could probably, because he actually has gotten planning in this area, so he might be able to help us with that, or at least give us some advice. I'm kind of all for doing our own planning applications, to be honest. I quite like it as a skill to develop with something of this sort of size. It doesn't faze me.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so in terms of what we were looking for today while we were on the viewing, it was kind of seeing like where can we fit bathrooms and things like that, because I'll probably say this like every video, but like we like for our tenants to have their own bathroom or ensuite. So today we were kind of really assessing the situation and seeing where they could actually go. Yeah.
Which is really important because that building isn't detached in particular, you know, you're kind of restricted in terms of where pipe work and stuff like that can go, and because it's is it a main road? I don't know. Is it a main road? It's kind of like it's not a main road, but it's a fairly prominent road. And as a building, you know, you're not gonna be putting pipe work down the front of the building. So you've got to really think about how, you know, where and how you're going to locate things like drainage and stuff like that to accommodate that many bathrooms. So it definitely is a consideration. It's one of the reasons that some things sometimes go higher up the list than other things.
Yeah, so all in all, that was actually a positive viewing. It's nice to go out on a viewing where I actually leave like in a better mood. Like, When I was thinking about the last viewing that we went on again, and I just think it was such a joke. Like,
I'm so annoyed about that viewing. Do you know part of the reason I'm annoyed though as well? Obviously, we left questions then with the agent, and they haven't even come back to us. I feel like with that viewing, I feel like not only did the vendor waste our time, like not only is the vendor wasting people's time who come to view, but the agent doesn't even realise how ineffective the viewing is.
Yeah.
So I feel like the agent is actually almost like aiding the vendor in wasting people's time. It's just, I've never heard anything like it.
Like the actual audacity of them is just, ugh.
Yeah, 100%. Through that process, they will never sell that property. They won't sell it.
And we'll keep seeing it on Rightmove. But no, it's good to end the little batch of viewings that we've just done on like a more positive note, because if we'd have ended on the one on Friday, that would have just been upsetting. So yeah, no man, it's like, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Let's just hope we don't get gazumped again on our offer.
No. Don't speak that into existence.
Okay, we won't get gazumped.
We won't get gazumped
this time if we do make an offer.
Yeah, if we do. I mean, if we buy it, you guys will find out in a few months. You'll see it on Instagram over there. But yeah, guys, that's it. Like, it's just a waiting game now. If we buy it, we buy it. If we don't, we don't. You got to wait and see. You'll probably find out in about April, May.
Which tends to be the average time it takes us to even get a deal through.
That's our average timescales. To be fair, I do feel like we should probably go on a few more viewings, because obviously after the last situation with the workshop where someone came and stole it, like, we need to just make sure the pipeline's strong. So yeah, maybe there will be some more vlogs of viewings. So yeah.
Yeah, because deals can fall through even after offer and acceptance stage, which we haven't had happen yet, apart from that one dodgy surveyor, but that was a different story.
Yeah, but yeah guys, so that's it for this vlog. Thank you so much for watching. As always, make sure you subscribe and give this video a big thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. But I'll see you next time. Bye. Say bye.
Bye. Because it's your vlog.
What's wrong with you?
Because it's your vlog. I'm just like a spectator.